911, what's your emergency?
I'm here tonight on the outskirts of Los Angeles, here where a 26-year-old mother by the name of Jessica Roberts accidentally unalived her newborn baby.
911, what's your emergency?
I think I killed my baby!
Okay, ma'am, can I please have your name and address?
I don't know what happened! My baby was crying, and I grabbed her, and the rest was blurry. Help me! I don't know what I did! Send someone now!
What you just heard was the disturbing 911 call of Miss Roberts calling for help. We will now dig deeper by doing an interview with Miss Roberts herself, her nephew, and her husband. Please state your name and the reason you're in custody.
My name is Jessica Roberts, and I suffer from postpartum depression, which caused me to brutally end my baby's life.
Ms. Roberts, how do you think this will affect you and your image in the long run?
For me, this deeply affected me. I was not aware of my condition at the time. Nobody around me did either. Coming to my image now, I truly do wish people would see me any differently. Due to this being a medical condition, I truly did love my baby girl, and I would have never done anything on purpose.
Do you plan on having another baby somewhat in the future when you put yourself back together? And how do you plan on taking care of that baby now that you know that you are in risk of postpartum depression?
I plan on having another baby in the future after I put myself together. And on that topic of what I'll do next time, I plan to tell my husband if he sees something to help if I can't see it myself or recognize it.
Okay, Ms. Roberts, that's all I have for you this evening. Thank you very much. Here I have with me the nephew and the husband of Miss Roberts to give us a deeper insight on what exactly happened that night.
I was with my aunt that night. She was watching me while my parents were out of town. I didn't notice anything off about her. She cooked food for me and ate it with me. We laughed and talked about school and how happy she was to finally be a mom. We played some board games and nothing seemed off that night.
I wasn't home that night because I tend to work nights at the factories. I've talked to my wife many times about it, and she said it was okay, but I thought it would be difficult sleeping with the baby. But we had a system that worked.
I went in the basement to go to sleep around 11 p.m. About an hour after I fell asleep looking at the clock when it struck 12 a.m., I heard screaming.
She would sleep during the day and take care of the baby at night, but she would be very moody, and I assumed that was because of the lack of sleep. So I didn't mind it much. I would help cook and clean during the day. She rested and sometimes seemed very low, and again, I didn't see much of her because of the lack of sleep.
I assumed it was Jessica and Roberto fighting, with words like, "Won't you just shut up? Give me 1 minute, just one." And then I heard banging, like things were being thrown. I stayed in my room to not get involved. Then I heard one last bang, and then it went silent for a second. Then I heard crying and screams for help. That's when I headed upstairs to find a mess of chairs, papers, and glass. And my aunt was just lying next to the baby on the phone with the 911 operator. That's when I worried and tried to get help to calm her down. I didn't know what was wrong with Amy. She wasn't crying. I also called Roberto to rush over to the house.
I got the call from my nephew about what happened. I was shocked, dropped my work, and sped home. Ran inside and just stopped. I saw the paramedics carrying out my baby girl and the police taking away my wife. I just couldn't believe what was going on. I rode down to the hospital with my baby, and once we arrived, I waited for over an hour and was unable to even take in what just happened.
I'm Dr. Brunel. I was the doctor that assessed Miss Roberts. I work with the police department, and I specialize in these kinds of cases. Miss Roberts is just like any other girl. She isn't a criminal. She has a mental disorder that has caused this, and we have seen this in many other cases. It's a fact. Postpartum depression is a mood disorder with symptoms such as inability to sleep, feelings of worthlessness, loss of interest in activities, fear of hurting baby. It is not normal, and is something that should be treated immediately before it gets too far. Unfortunately, in this case, it did. The treatments for this disorder are therapies, medications, and self-care. Thank you.
I specialize in care for infants that have been affected by shaken baby syndrome. I was at the hospital when Miss Roberts' baby arrived. Unfortunately, there was nothing that I could do since the baby had already passed before coming into my care.
AHT can be caused by many different things such as trauma to the head. This commonly happens to children 3 years and younger due to the lack of muscles that they have in their neck.
Unfortunately, in the cases where the baby does survive from AHT, there are many effects on the infant's brain, including hearing loss, delayed development, problems of speech or learning, and seizures are what caused all by shaken baby syndrome.
This occurs when the blood vessels and the nerves in your brain tears, causing bruising and bleeding to the outside of the brain. Some symptoms of this could be throwing up or trouble breathing, or if the baby seems stiff.
We as doctors do many exams to the infants to make sure that they aren't being affected by AHT at home, like eye exams, x-rays, CTs, MRIs. We also look for broken bones in the head, swelling of the brain, and brain bleeding. AHT is 100% preventable. It's something you as the parent or guardian have to cause. And that's news tonight on AHT News. Have a safe night, folks.
Such as inability to sleep, feelings of I can't see the paper.
Oh my god, I already forgot. State your name and the reason you're in custody.
Jessica Roberts.
We can cut this part.
I specialize in the care for infants that have been
Things. Oops.
Try again.